Do you need reminding that they chose to stand down as royals and chose to leave the UK? When you give up a job, you do not get to keep the perks. They have not earned a single penny since leaving, they have not completed any of the stuff they were obligated to for Netflix and Spotify. Harry had more than £30,000 of his own money, left to him by Diana, plus, as a working royal, he got all expenses when actually carrying out royal duties, plus he was funded to the tune of several £1,000,000 a year by his father, from his own private money, which stopped 6 whole months after he left the UK. Why would British taxpayers pay for the lives of non-working, barely royal grifters who don't even live in the UK? Apart from the trashing, lies, and pure hatred they have poured on the real royals and the people of the UK since they left, all because his wife could not change the monarchy to suit her own agenda. While they were working royals they were given Frogmore Cottage, renovated by public money for millions, just for them. Harry also had a publicly funded home Nottingham Cottage on the grounds of Kensington Palace. They left, skedaddled, and left the country. What on earth do you expect? The first episode of Archetypes, which explores female stereotypes, was released today and features tennis star and friend of Meghan, Serena Williams. However, the podcast has received criticism from royal commentator Angela Levin, who in a tweet said, "Meghan's first podcast is out. She and Serena Williams giggle away with lots of 'oh my gosh.' Meghan encourages her to complain about how a woman is held back and how they are a victim." You couldn't make it up. Adding to Ms. Levin's criticism, Twitter user @Locket321 said, "Every story/anecdote she offers is always based on our royal family. She appears to have nothing but that to offer." However, not everyone was critical of the podcast, and many fans of the Duchess took to social media to share their excitement at its release. @Shubs247 tweeted, "Duchess Meghan Markle's long-awaited #Archetypes podcast is here. I'm so excited, I don't want to talk about anything else." Oh, baby cakes. Let's give the Harkless real something to moan about. Simply strip them of all their titles. No HRH, no Prince. No Counselor of State. No succession. No nothing. Maybe a right honorable as Consuelo de Bobo. How do they love to invent tall tales and fallacies they call their subjective truth? Well, if they're just going to lie to cast shade on the royals and palace, well, then. Let's rumble and give real reasons to have their moan fest. Take away everything. Let them stand on their own petard. And let's see where Meghan's ambitions take her. Without the crutch of being royal. The simple truth is they are incapable of actually working. Neither of them has the least ability. They made Archewell a foundation, as that means they only have to hand over to charity 5% of donations, the other 95% they can claim for themselves as expenses, salaries, travel, etc. Even so, I believe it was reported not to have made any money, presumably because anything donated has been used by them for expenses. I don't believe they actually bought the house in Montecito. At best I think they are renting it, as has been reported, parts of it. I don't know if it still is, but until recently it was still advertised as for sale. That was just a vast vanity project for Harry's wife, who has always dreamed of being a big celebrity in Hollywood. That little thing called work that Markle cannot seem to grasp. Cambridge works hard for the people of England, bringing billions in tourism and investment, far less than they receive in the sovereign grant. Markles have played around for 2.5 years, polo anyone, losing lucrative deals cause they don't work. They bailed out and fled the country rather than do their last jobs. Finally, the first podcast, give us some of that Markle pizzazz. A chat with a friend on the topic of, you guessed it, herself. I am riveted, and blown away by her insight into an issue of critical importance to modern women, dishwashing soap. If that's all you got, you are in trouble, honey. So what? Harry and Meghan left to be private citizens and forge their own way in life, therefore they are not part of the firm anymore. They had Frogmore Cottage given to them and they could have had a property on the Queen Sandringham estate, but they turned their noses up at that one. Tough. She really has nothing to say that could remotely interest people. It's the media who keep her in the spotlight. Stop publishing stories about a very ordinary person who married a prince and has now taken on the mantle of royalty and loved it despite what she says. Adelaide Cottage got 4 bedrooms. For example. So they are paying for it. They are working royals and have 3 kids. They are engaged in serious charities where anybody can associate with and participate without an entrance ticket. This couple has got millions from his late mother etc. and his dad had financed them. If they need such a big mansion, fair enough. But they just do not realize how petty their behavior is turning into. Correction. The Markles were forced to pay back for the renovations to Frogmore when they abandoned Britain and duty and opted to live abroad. As others have said, they paid for their home in Monty Shitshow using Diana's money and input from Charles. And the key thing, here, is that the Cambridges are hard-working members of the royal family and our future king and queen. The Sussexes, by contrast, through their own choices, are nobodies and have nothing whatever to do with this country, anymore. Dear Squatties, Meghan and Harry are paying their own way with the blood money they get from selling out their family and pretending to be actual real royals or something. Elder abuse and racism is a profitable business for the godless and immoral. Also Squatties, you're beyond decent. And please do not forget the $4 million Daddy gave Harry and Meg while they sat there telling Oprah Charles had done nothing and cut them off. I don't want to hear about this BXXCH. Seems like this paper likes BXXCH very much. Then they write bad articles about Cambridge. Also, this paper likes to use Omid Scobie. I don't think that he is a journalist. He is a mouthpiece of BXXCH. Stop using propaganda, and stop talking about BXXCH, please. When will they get into a discussion involving vengeful narcissists? Keeping in tune with this demonic podcast, one iconic example from the royal family comes to mind. In fact, a very devious, spiteful example of a modern-day narcissist, who's attached herself to the royal family like a leech in the hope of fulfilling her ambitions of social climbing. Worse, this particular narcissist has a long track record of broken relationships, from 2 former husbands to a father, brothers, sisters, fellow actors, producers, tech crew, ex-bodyguards, nannies, staff. Whoa, that list is no coincidence or down to bad luck. There's a pattern going on here. Ignore it at your peril. How are we in the UK able to be so fooled by this woman? She joined the royal family with bad intentions right from the start. This means that as she was talking to the Queen, Charles, and the other family members, she was harboring evil thoughts behind her smile. According to Methane, she and her Bessie mate Serena are so close. How come then, the first time Serena heard about the alleged fire in Archie's bedroom in SA, was during the podcast. Also, Methane said that she and Bessie's mate is the only 2 people in the world who make each other laugh. That doesn't say much for her marriage to Hapless. Wow, the level of intelligence of the Sussex squad is shallow. They seem to be fixated in sycophantic bibble-babble. Like their goddess, they seem to have problems with the real truth and can only comprehend their own truth. If they bothered to check facts, they would not make such cakes of themselves. We paid for the renovations for 1 household. KP. The Norfolk home was a gift from the Queen, who paid for all the renovations, and the Cambridges are allegedly paying for the rent and other costs for Adelaide Cottage. Also, they fail to comprehend that the Cambridges are working royals and could have the right to funding but chose not to. Unlike the Hackles, who took the money for Frognall Cottage while they were making plans to exit. So if they want to get their knickers into a twist, they should do so over this fact. Today, after many months, I ventured into Twitter just to see how the temperature was for Meg's podcast. Oh my goodness, she's being sandblasted. Then I went to Daily Mail. I know, but 22,500 comments against her in climbing. Same with all the other commentary media. This is an epic fail. My word, the woman has a massive talent for failure and peeving off the general public.